good YouTube? It's Adam from LNKmusic Jester. Welcome to a brand new video. Today we're going to go ahead and remake from scratch Offset Gunna's Different Species. The tempo for this one is 125 beats per minute, and the track is produced by X-plosive, LNKmusic Jester Beats. Let's go and start off with the main guitar that we hear throughout the entire track. So let's hit Y on our keyboard and go to our library browser. We're gonna go to guitar and we'll bring in the acoustic guitar. Let's go and draw on that pattern and then get to some sound design later. So the rhythm that the guitar is going to follow is quarter triplets. So to make it easy, I'm just gonna draw in the 3 root notes here. I'm gonna go ahead and pull this up. Pattern pretty much just repeats that for a couple bars. All right, then it's gonna go up. So duplicate that over a bar. And then for the last bar, and next I'm just going to go ahead and stretch out all the notes and then randomize the velocity of each note. So now that all the notes are ringing out, we get a better performance. Then we're gonna go to MIDI transform and go to random velocity. We'll go from like 40 to 100, maybe we'll go a little bit less. We'll go 40 to 80. We'll go select all of our notes, select and operate. Then we get a more realistic-ish guitar pattern. So the guitar pattern in the original track was most likely recorded live, so it has some of those nuances that you get when you record an actual guitar or live guitar. With MIDI, you kind of miss some of that, but we're gonna try our best to replicate that tone in the original track. So what we're gonna do now is just bring in some chorus. Just a little bit. We'll bring in some noise to mimic like an amp. So we're gonna go to bring in Logic's Bit Crusher. And what we're gonna do here is just give it a little bit of noise here. And we'll mix that in. Just a little bit of noise, like it was recorded live. And then we'll bring in an amp and some reverb just to kind of shape it all together. So we'll bring in Logic's Bass Amp Designer. And I'm gonna go to a preset, the 70s Solid. Kind of gives it like a darker tone. And then we'll bring in that reverb for space. So go Control Command P, we'll bring in Logic's Chroma Reverb. And for that, we're gonna go over to Effects and we'll go to the spherical preset. So next up, let's go to that choir, create a new software instrument track. We'll bring in Logic's Alchemy. And what we're gonna do here is bring in a choir sound. It's gonna be a male choir. And we're gonna bring in this one right over here. We're gonna go over to the resonant performance. Let's go and draw on that pattern. It's really just 2 notes. So that's a little bit too bright. So we're just gonna take an EQ and just make it a little bit darker. So let's open up that EQ. And just take out some of the top end here. And then the pattern switches up for the following 4 bars. So I'm just gonna go ahead and duplicate this over. And what we're gonna do is just bring these notes Next, we got underlying keys that happen in the background. Well, for that, we're gonna go ahead and bring in Logic's Alchemy. And we're gonna bring in a preset. It's under the keys category, but it's the Flexi Suitcase. Let's gonna go ahead and draw on those chords just to line up with the guitar pattern. loud and in your face, we got to push that back a little bit. So to do that, we're going to bring in an EQ, and we're just going to use some top cut just to bring it back a little bit. Let's take a little bit of this bass rumbleness in there. And of course, we'll bring down the volume a bit. All right, next, let's go ahead and bring in that bass pattern. There are a couple different bass patterns here, but I'll just show you the main one. So we got the ES1 preset over here. Sorry, the ES1 synthesizer. We're going to start off with a preset, go to the deep bass preset, and we're going to draw in the pattern. All right, let's go ahead and stretch this out because it is an 8-bar pattern. First off, that is a little bit too buzzy, so we got to take off some of the top end just to fit it into the mix a bit better. So I'll open up an EQ, take our high cut over here and just pull it down. All right, and then we're going to go ahead and bring in Logic's Bit Crusher and just give it some noise. And then of course we got the drums. Let's go create a new software instrument track. We'll go to our library browser, we'll go over to the drum kits, and we'll go to the different species drum kit. We'll start off with the main snare. It's nice and easy, it happens on the 3s. All right, next let's go ahead and get to the kick. Hi-hat. Over here we get a little bit of a roll, so we're gonna go to 32 notes and just draw those in. Let's go ahead and draw in another roll. And then we get another roll here as well. And another 30-second roll here. Let's go ahead and just loop that out so you hear the whole pattern. Pockets that we heard there is going to be filled with the open hats. So let's get to that. Every other bar. So let's go ahead, change this over to 32 steps. Take the second one off. Then of course we we have that secondary snare that happens at the end of every 4 bars. So we'll go create a pattern region here. We're going to change this over to 64 steps and just draw in. Oh, that's not going to happen there. It's going to happen at the end of the 4 bars. And then we get into a secondary choir. So what we're going to do here is just copy over everything, except we're going to take out this secondary choir over here. Let's go ahead and create a new soft instrument track. We'll bring in Logic's Alchemy, and we're going to bring in the angelic choir preset. And let's go ahead and draw on that pattern and then get to some sound design. Let's just change this over to 8 so that I can step in my notes properly. See kind of like this ambient vocal stuff happening in the background. So the thing we're gonna do here is just put on some EQ and put into a nice big reverb. So that's nice and airy. So let's open up Logic's EQ. I'm gonna take out a little bit of the top end. Bring in Logic's Chrome Reverb. Like I said, I want a nice and airy. All right, next let's go ahead and copy over everything and bring in that piano. So I'm going to copy all this over and we're going to bring in a piano. So we're going to create a new soft instrument track, go Control Command P, bring in Logic Studio Piano. We'll be working with the default preset that loads up here. Now, of course, that sounds a little dry, but we'll get to that delay thing in a moment. First, we're going to go ahead and make this a little bit brighter. So we'll bring in Logic's EQ, not compressor. We'll go over to the keyboards presets and we'll bring in the piano bright preset. It's going to make it brighter. All right, now that delay, bring Control Command P, bring in Logic's echo. So the key thing here for the delay is a quarter note. Let's bring down the wet value to about 35%. See how it rings out quite a bit? We're going to bring that back. We don't want to ring out as long. And we're going to make the color a little darker here. And now, to make that even bigger, we'll put it into a space. All right, so that is pretty much the beat right there. Next, I'm gonna go ahead and arrange it, mix it, and when we come back, we'll take a listen to how everything sounds together. here, I'm gonna go ahead and save this entire session for you, place it as a downloadable link below this video. If you don't use Logic, I got your back as well. I'm gonna export all the MIDI stems, audio stems, and of course include the drum kit that you heard in this remake. You can find that entire playback down below the like button as well. If you do have any questions on this or just want to chat or have any suggestions for future videos, let's go chat down below. Thanks for watching. We'll catch you on the next one later. Peace.